AITA for excluding my disabled cousin from my wedding. I'm in a bit of a dilemma, and it's been weighing on me for some time now. I'm about to marry my amazing fiancé Liam, and we're getting ready for the wedding of our dreams. But there's a part of this wedding planning that I'm struggling with. Whether or not to invite my cousin, Tom. Tom is 29, but he has a developmental disability, and his intellectual capacity is closer to that of a 7-year-old. I love him dearly, but there's something that's been happening for years now that makes me deeply uncomfortable, and I don't know how to handle it as I get closer to my wedding day. I've always been what you might call an early bloomer. I have a much larger chest than most women, and because of my athletic background in high school, and still to this day, I take pride in the way I look. But, unfortunately, this seems to be the main justification my family uses to excuse Tom's behavior. Over the years, Tom has crossed physical boundaries with me multiple times. He's touched my chest and butt, hugged me tightly, and even tried to kiss me on several occasions. I've always told him to stop immediately and tried to be firm with him, but it never seems to sink in. Tom also has this idea that I'm his girlfriend. He tells his caregivers, his nurses, and anyone who will listen that I'm his girlfriend, and he doesn't believe that Liam is my actual fiancé. In his mind, Liam isn't good enough, and he claims that I'm going to marry him instead. It honestly feels like when a young child innocently says they're going to marry their parent, but it's still so uncomfortable. I've brought this up to my family countless times, but they always brush it off. They say things like, Tom doesn't understand, or that he's just showing affection. The excuse I hear most often is that he's a little boy in a man's body, and I'm just a conventionally attractive woman, so this is just the way he acts. When I told my mom how uncomfortable his actions make me feel, she brushed it off, telling me that I probably entertained his behavior too much, and that I should just be firm with him. But when I do try to be firm, the family accuses me of being mean or too harsh with him. Now that my wedding is fast approaching, I can't help but feel anxious about Tom's presence on the big day. I want my wedding to be a relaxed, joyous occasion without the constant fear that he'll overstep boundaries again. I love my cousin, but I've had enough of dealing with this behavior, and I don't want to feel on edge throughout the celebration. When I brought up the idea of not inviting Tom, my family completely flipped out. They called me unfair, cruel, and said that he'd be devastated if he couldn't attend. My mom even told me that it would ruin his day and make him feel like he's different from everyone else, which she thinks is heartless. I understand that Tom can't help his disability and that his actions aren't coming from a place of malice, but I can't shake the feeling that my family is completely ignoring my own discomfort in this situation. They make it sound like it's my responsibility to just deal with it, or that I should somehow accept it because he doesn't know any better. But at the end of the day, this is my wedding, and I don't want to spend the entire event worrying about whether or not Tom will overstep my boundaries again. Liam is fully supportive and says I have every right not to invite him, especially because of how Tom treats both of us like our relationship isn't real. But even though Liam agrees with me, I keep second-guessing myself. I wonder if I'm being too harsh. After all, Tom doesn't really understand boundaries or the concept of what's socially appropriate, and I know his family has never corrected him in a meaningful way. So I'm caught in this dilemma, trying to figure out if I'm being unreasonable for not wanting to invite him to my wedding. So I'm turning to you all for some advice. Am I the asshole for considering not inviting Tom to my wedding, even though he doesn't fully understand the impact of his actions? Or am I just trying to protect myself and my future marriage from something that could potentially make my special day feel uncomfortable and unsafe?